Oh man, you guys have no idea the amount of grueling, backbreaking work that I have to do to thermal test these PCs for you. But somebody's got to do it. All right, now. What's good with it? It's your kinfolk Dookie. We are back to test the thermal capacity and the limits of this Space Jam themed PC that I put together a few weeks ago. Now, if you don't remember, we used some parts that we've used here before on this channel. We got the Ryzen 5600X, a Zotac 3060, the White Edition, a B450 motherboard, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a 500 watt power supply. But the important thing was this new case that was sent over by Gamdias. This is the Mars E2 in white. I thought it looked pretty slick. I was like, yo, I want to do a build in that. They also sent over their Boreas or Boreas, I don't know how to say it, their air cooler for the CPU and a pack of case fans, which we used all in this build. Now, there were a couple of questions when I first did this because the airflow seemed to be more choked off than someone who forgot the safe word.
My safe word is pineapple juice.
But what we're gonna do is run through a couple of synthetic tests and some real world gaming so you can see exactly what type of performance you'll be looking for from a configuration that's similar to this. Now, before we get started, I gotta get Bron out of the case so he doesn't alter results by trying to build another super team or something. Jumping in the center bench, we get a multi-core score of 3600 and follow that up with an overall score of 8576 in Time Spy. To test the thermal capacity, I tag teamed the 8064 CPU burn with the Furmark GPU stress test for 1 whole hour, because I'm a boss like that. I was quite happy to see GPU temps never reach higher than 68C, and even at its hottest, the CPU only hit 77C, well within reasonable figures for both. Now, diving headfirst into a round of Apex Legends to test actual gaming performance, we see that the synthetic benchmarks were pretty much spot on. The GPU maintained a consistent average of 67C, and that Ryzen chip never pushed past 72C. The same can be said for AC Odyssey and Warzone, all providing pretty similar results. But now, it's time to push it to the max. Alright, so what I've brought you into is sort of a streaming type of setup. I'm actually currently testing the Razer Barracuda X, so make sure you subscribe for video on that. Got some interesting thoughts coming on that. Pretty soon you're hearing the audio directly from the mic on the headphones. We brought in some Cyberpunk 2077. Is this a game that people still play? I have no idea. I only really loaded up for these type of videos. So we're riding around mid 50s on the FPS. I have no idea what's going on. I'm actually pretty impressed with how well the GPU does. We never really get higher than the mid 60s on the GPU. Right now we're sitting at about 61 degrees and it's being used 98%. Let's turn it up a little bit. Let's get into some action. Let's shoot this dude. Pow, 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 pow. Oh wow, she got shot in the butt. Look, I done had way too much fun playing games. Let's get out of here and talk about the performance of this Space Jam PC. Alright, now we actually got some pretty surprising results. I figured with that tempered glass panel and really no real airflow input other than that tiny narrow strip on the side, that this thing was going to be just gasping and wheezing, overheating and thermal throttling. But you can see that never was the case, which is pretty good considering that there's not that much airflow in a system like this, and it probably isn't optimized for the best airflow. So I thought the GPU would be worse off. Now the CPU, it really just depends on your point of view. I thought it stayed pretty solid in the low 70s, maybe reaching to the 75, 76 in some testing, but I still think that's a really safe range of temperatures for your CPU, especially for these Ryzen chips. So you really don't need to worry about temperatures because nothing here is too extreme. Alright, now I'm gonna get up out of here, but before I go, you know I love asking for help, and I'm currently testing these Razer Barracuda X headphones. So let me know what songs I should be checking and adding to my playlist down below. I'll make sure to share that playlist in the description as well if you have a pair of headphones that you want to check out. I'm gonna get up out of here. It's your Kinfolk Dookie. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and never forget to holler at your boy.